It's the Rock and Refuel Recruiting Roundup. We bring the latest in Arizona high school football recruiting year-round. That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. A commitment to get us started, Jason. A once-committed player. He decommits from UNLV and then announces a Pac-12 school.
Yeah, I don't think this one really surprises anybody. Chandler wide receiver Johnny Johnson, like you mentioned, was committed to UNLV, committed to the Rebels in the summertime, but 2 weeks ago got an offer from Oregon. He decommitted from UNLV and turned around in just a couple days, flips and commits to the Ducks. Like I said, it doesn't really surprise anybody, when you're comparing the two schools. But, for Johnson, he's a guy that didn't have a Power 5 offer, got this offer from Oregon, and jumped on it really quickly.
And what has he done this season, his body of work that has landed him Pac-12 level interest?
I mean, you look at he's caught almost 70 balls. He has over 1,000 yards receiving. He's very versatile in what he can do. He can play inside, can play outside. Just a fantastic player for the Wolves.
Another one of the top seniors in this class announced his top 3 for schools. He's nearing his commitment.
Yeah, KJ Jarrell, safety out of Saguaro High School, narrowed it down to top 3. That includes Arizona State, Cal, and USC. I don't think the USC, being in the top 3 surprises anybody. They've kind of been in his favorite for a while. Cal, he has a former teammate in Luke Benzer over there right now, and then ASU, 3 of his teammates are committed out of this class, currently. So, those 3 schools, plus I had heard Nebraska and Colorado were a couple schools that were in the mix as well, in like a top 5, but he narrowed it down to these top 3 schools.
One player received their first offer last week, Jason, out on the west side.
Yeah, David Cofield. It's kind of a sleeper D-end, tight end out of Agua Fria High School, 6'4", 190-pound kid that carries a 4.3 GPA, so it doesn't surprise me that the University of San Diego, a very good academic school, offered him his first scholarship offer.
Let's talk about our Player of the Week from the quarterfinals. This guy already received a Player of the Week honors from us, but when you look at these stats that Brock Purdy at Perry put together last week against Hamilton in a huge playoff game, it is just mind-blowing what he accomplished.
Yeah, the offensive stats in that game were absolutely ridiculous, and Purdy threw for over 330 yards and 6 touchdowns. He had 132 yards rushing, including the game-winning touchdown on the ground, and then just to top it off, he had a touchdown reception as well. So Brock Purdy is our Player of the Week for the second time this year.
Brock Purdy, the stats don't lie, his production doesn't lie. On the highest level of play here in Arizona, is his recruitment, do you think, going to reflect anything along those lines?
I think so. He's a guy that no one really knew was on nobody's radar coming into this season. Missed the first few games and now is really broken out. And I think just the body of work that he's put together this season warrants Division I attention next year.
Let's talk about a couple big matchups coming up in the semifinals. There's so many great games on the docket. We're going to narrow it down just to a couple intriguing storylines. Starting with Red Mountain. They were kind of a sleeper team. They've been the Cinderella team in 6A. They go up against the powerhouse Mountain Point.
Yeah, Red Mountain, they're a 13 seed, have 2 upsets coming into this game. They're led by Lance Lawson. Last week, Lawson rushed for 210 yards and 5 touchdowns. And, you look at Mountain Point, they're known for their strong defense. Last week, they had 4 defensive touchdowns, including 2 pick sixes by Isaiah Polomau. So I think that Mountain Point defense is going to have to shut down Lance Lawson to get a win.
And now let's talk about a big one in 5A. Becoming one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Arizona, it's because of this time of year. Queen Creek going up against Williamsfield.
Yeah, in the first game, Williamsfield pulled out a very close one, 16-9. But these two schools, they don't like each other. They're in close proximity, and they're both very, very talented football teams as well. You got Alabama kicker commit Brandon Ruiz over there at Williamsfield, and then Devin Larson, the quarterback over at Queen Creek, has really broke out and taken them to another level. So a very good semifinal matchup.
That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. It's the Rock and Refuel Recruiting Roundup.